Joe Burrow made his preseason debut, and Joe Burrow looked like Joe Burrow. Is that it for him for the preseason? We'll discuss our thoughts on him, Jermaine Burton, and much, much more right now on Enter the Jungle. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Enter the Jungle. He's Andrew Fox Miller. I'm James Rapien. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Catch us every single Tuesday at 8 Eastern. We are part of the Big Play Network, brought to you by Garage Beer and weekly on Bally Sports. Andrew, we have preseason football, actual football to talk about today, and whether we're discussing Joe Burrow in a matter of seconds, Jermaine Burton, or my one-on-one interview with Dax Hill, we're packed, stacked, and ready to go. Let's start with Joe Burrow, though, because what more do you need to see from Joe? You've seen all of these clips.
Yep.
You've done 3 highlight videos on this channel. And then he goes out there against the Buccaneers, is 5 for 7 for 51 yards, throws a touchdown to T. Higgins, throws a deep ball that's almost caught. As a Bengals fan, do you need to see anything else from Joe?
I don't need to see anything else from Joe that I'm going to be able to see in preseason. What I need to see from Joe now is the only thing I'm going to get in the regular season, and that is endurance, sustainability. Let's see how he does with the multiple reps in the regular season with his wrist. It's probably a little discomfort, probably stiffen up a bit, but either way, I want to see it, and I'm not going to be able to see that in preseason. So I can't get that. I'm good. Whatever Joe needs, whatever the coaches feel he needs, fine. Me personally, nah, I'm good.
I agree with you on the first part because I'm absolutely good. In fact, when he threw that touchdown to T. Higgins in the press box, I turned to everyone and said, see you September 8th.
Right.
See you against New England. That's it. Because you have the joint practices. And that's what I think is interesting is the way they set up his snaps and the way they set up the game plan. They had 4 runs, 9 snaps. 1 was negated by a penalty, but 9 snaps in shotgun or empty. So that's nearly, if you take away the penalty, that's 12 total snaps. 4 of them were runs or were under center, rather. I'm not sure the Bengals are going to go that much under center, like 33%, 34% of the time, and have 5 Chase Brown runs on every opening drive. But they did that to protect Joe Burrow. And it's because it's preseason. It's because they wanted to avoid any of my concerns, which were risk versus reward. And they got out of it unscathed. Joe Burrow is fine. So why push it now? Even if it is because he wants to get hit. And I guess we should play this because Joe Burrow talked about the night on Saturday and kind of mentioned, yeah, it would have been nice if he had gotten hit.
Go through the routine, get the feeling of playing again, get the feeling of calling the game, looking at the play clock, reading the defense. Maybe we'll get hit at some point, but didn't happen today, which is a good thing. I wouldn't mind getting hit before the first game. We'll see.
Does that mean you're hoping to play again in the preseason? Or am I reading too much?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. That's kind of a Zach question. We'll kind of make that decision together and see where that goes.
All right, Zach, Joe, everyone's good. Enjoy the rest of the preseason from the sideline. That's my logic, at least.
Yeah, I mean, somebody out there in media failed to put their phone on silent. They were already like, yeah, we're good. We don't even need to worry about etiquette here in the press room. I mean, whatever. No, maybe I'm reading things wrong. It's hard with Joe at times, right? But it did seem like he was kind of like, you know, we were asking, did you want to play in preseason prior to all of this? You pretty much knew he wanted to. I understand the wanting to get hit, but it feels like in this one, it's like kind of like, maybe it's my whole demeanor with this, like, okay. I mean, you even heard it. He said it how many times? That was kind of his beginning noise before each answer. I think he's good.
Yeah, and he should be because it was a heck of a drive. And he said he didn't have a list of things to accomplish in his head or anything like that. But it would have felt weird if he hadn't went down and scored the touchdown. Like if that throw to T. Higgins, and he mentioned it, they got a little help. The throw to T. Higgins on the sideline doesn't get called for pass interference, and it probably shouldn't have. It wasn't really catchable. If that doesn't happen and they settle for a field goal there, it doesn't feel as good. I would still feel the same way because I saw him throw a deep ball and I saw him throw multiple passes to different players, completed passes to 4 different guys. Like it's exactly how you script it. I was talking with the Bengals radio play-by-play, Dan Horde, who is logical as anyone. And I was like, yeah, what do you think tonight? And we were walking up to the press box together and he's like, 8 plays, 75 yards. See you September 8th. And I was like, I hope so. I hope that's it. And it wasn't 8 plays, it was 12 plays, but it's pretty close to exactly how you could draw it up. If you're Zach Taylor, if you're Bengals offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher, or certainly Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and for the most part, that deep ball, that was pretty much a touchdown, right? I mean, like T had it. And okay, I felt good, even if it wasn't a touchdown in the end, like you said. If that drive ended, like I liked what I saw even there. And by the way, I should mention throughout all this, I don't know about you, but watching that drive, I'm not saying he wasn't missed, but Jamar Chase not being out there, like I felt the fact that he wasn't out there. I want to see him used in different ways, like we've talked about leading up to this season. I guess that just goes to show, like, that's how good that drive was, and Jamar was not even a part of it. Imagine when he is.
And that was obviously the drive of the night, but Jermaine Burton shined very bright too. Bengals 3rd round pick, Jermaine Burton shined. What should we expect from him this season? We'll answer that coming up next on Enter the Jungle. Welcome back to Enter the Jungle. I'm James Rapien. He's Andrew Fox Miller. And Bengals rookie Jermaine Burton, he didn't get in the first half against the Buccaneers. In the 3rd quarter, he played pretty sparingly. And then in the 4th quarter, Jermaine Burton showed everyone why the Bengals drafted him. He won on a double move for a touchdown, had 3 catches for 82 yards. Where are your expectations at for Jermaine Burton right now? Because I think Bengals fans on Saturday night went through it. It went from, man, he's not even getting on the field, to he's on the field, he's making plays. Why wasn't he on the field with Joe? And now it's a question mark, I think, for some people. What do you think about Jermaine Burton's performance and what he's going to be relied on to do at least early in the season?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the strategy was putting him in the 4th. But you put him in, it's like, hey, you're going to put me against this roster bubble defense. I'm going to make them pay. And that's what he did. And I don't know how he would do it, Joe. I like what I've seen in camp. Joe's targeted him plenty in camp. I'm not too worried about it. I think between him and Joseph having the game that he had, I mean, I just feel like it's coming to fruition. Everything that we were excited about thinking about this wide receiver room, it just adds to the depth, the strength. Like, that's probably the least concerned I am about any position right now, looking at what I saw from this game and everything I've seen in camp. And Jermaine Burton just took it and almost pretty much solidified it for me of like, we've got weapons, explosive plays. How many times do we talk about explosive plays? Jermaine Burton he just put that on display right there. 4th quarter. Don't care if it's a roster bubble defense. He executed.
He did execute, no doubt. And he wins on the double move, just a nasty move. Wins again deep when Tampa can only do one thing, not get beat deep, and they did. So I get you. There's a couple things. And when I think about what a successful season for Jermaine Burton might be, I think it might be a bit different today than we would have thought of a month ago or 2 months ago. And it's for a few reasons. One, let's go back to that number 5 guy. T. Higgins looks the best we've ever seen. This is the best T. Higgins we've ever seen. So if he's going to be out on the field a ton and commanding double teams and making plays, well, that means less deep balls to go around, especially when Jamar Chase comes back, to your point. And then you have guys like Andre Joseph and Trent Irwin that caught passes from Burrow, that have Burrow's trust, that have the football experience to kick and slide in the slot and do what the Bengals are hoping for them to do, or hoping to see from the slot receiver. That's tough to pick up. Like we saw Charlie Jones last year. It's hard as a rookie to pick up the slot right away, especially in this offense. This is not an easy offense by any stretch for wide receivers. And Jamar Chase, Trenton Irwin, now Andre Joseph in year 2, obviously T. Higgins, they make it look easier because they've been there, done that. And Charlie Jones, to a large degree, who, thank goodness, he avoided serious injury. It looked really serious. So you mentioned that wide receiver depth. Hopefully it isn't getting tested much and Charlie can be back. But yeah, for Jermaine, maybe he's just the deep threat this year, Andrew. Like maybe he's just the guy that stretches the field and has 22 catches and averages 20 yards a catch. Like,
Yeah.
Okay. or maybe it's 15 catches in 22 yards a catch. I don't know the number, but when I look at Andre and I look at all of these guys behind Jamar and T, they don't have a field stretcher. Andre Yosevach is good. He's not a field stretcher, not elite speed. Charlie Jones, really good speed like Andre, but I wouldn't say elite speed, and certainly not that downfield ability that Jermaine has. Same thing with Trenton Irwin, solid route runner, but you're not going to mistake him for one of these Olympians winning gold. Burton gives you something that those guys don't. So I've already kind of adjusted my expectations. Just give me some deep plays when they need it at some point, because they will need it at some point. And if you do that, that's probably going to be enough because of all the other options they have in the wide receiver room.
I think that's fair. I could get on board with that level of expectation. Let's put it for a moment in fantasy football terms, since we're nearing, if we're not already doing fantasy football drafts out there, everyone. Jermaine Burton, I could see being that name that's going to pop up several times on like must add waiver wire, and then you just don't hear from him as much for like a week or two. It's just like a hot waiver wire pickup, and then he just has those big kind of games because of the big plays, because of the yardage, because of the potentially touchdown. Right? He will be a bit of an enigma perhaps in fantasy football, but one hell of a flyer.
Yeah, absolutely. A great flyer. I would say if you're in my league,
Oh boy.
please. Well, see, I'm not going to be mean one way or than another. I'm not giving Bengals advice on Enter the Jungle or fantasy advice, because you know that people in our leagues are probably watching, including you. I'm competing with you, Andrew. I'm not giving you my secrets, my hidden Bengals secrets that I'm going to use against you when it's
You can't help
time.
yourself. You'll still do it.
I'm not doing that. Nope, I'm not. I'm really not. You know why? Because we're going to go from the skill players to cornerbacks. I go one-on-one with Dax Hill. I think he just had another pass breakup at Paycor Stadium. He was all over the field in his preseason debut at cornerback, and I will talk with him about it next on Enter the Jungle. Welcome back to Enter the Jungle. I'm James Rapien. He is Andrew Fox Miller, and Bengals cornerback Dax Hill is still battling with DJ Turner for the starting cornerback job. DJ Turner entered preseason game number 1 clearly ahead of Dax, but Dax had a nice night. 3 pass breakups, nearly had an interception, did give up 1 catch downfield. Overall, though, I thought Dax was around the ball a ton, made a bunch of plays, and that's what you needed to see. That's what I certainly needed to see. I was able to catch up with Dax Hill after the game, and I asked him how he felt about his debut at cornerback. In the Bengals locker room with Dax Hill. Dax, obviously, first preseason game at cornerback. Overall, how are you feeling right now after a big night? I mean, you played the first half.
Yeah, I mean, I feel great out there. Feel very comfortable just being out there, different position. And so I feel like that's where it starts at right now, preseason. You're just trying to fill everything out, and I feel like I'm going in the direction that I want to. So,
do you think of yourself as cornerback Dax Hill? Has that part set in yet?
I think so. It's just like I'm really doing this, like, because last year's like, at safety, and right now it's kind of just surreal that I'm actually playing corner. I would have never thought in a million years that I would be in this position, but it's a reality, and I have to face it. So yeah.
3 pass breakups overall. I think even Zach mentioned afterwards, and he hasn't watched film either yet, but he said you were around the ball a lot. Did you feel like you made the impact you wanted to?
Yeah, for sure. You just kind of just want to, have fun and fly around. It's preseason, not too much is on the call sheet. I mean, playing man-to-man majority of the time, so you just want to, play the technique that I've been learning the last few months, at corner, and, do that. And so I feel like I said, I feel like I'm in a, good direction to where I eventually want to get to.
The one play, the 3 pass breakups, the one almost interception. I feel like when I think of your 2023, there were a couple of those, and I bugged you about them. What was going through your head? Did you think you caught that one?
I did. Undercutted it. Felt like it was I feel like I was in a good situation to where it's like, okay, I'm undercut it, and able to make a play, got my hands on it, and I didn't expect the ball to go up in the air like it did, and so I don't know. I thought I had it in my hand, then fell to the ground, and sometimes the ground kind of makes it look worse than what it actually is. So, but yeah, the ground didn't help me.
So that play happens, and then you're like, are they going to review it or not? Like, I think everyone thought that. Didn't review it. And the very next play, you almost have another PBU. And it was a completion, but you were like 0.1 seconds away from knocking that ball away.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's just, those small details. It's like, what's coming. And you really just have to get those balls up. Like, whenever you feel like you're around the ball, you feel like it's coming in bunches. That's what they say. Like, once you get your hand on the ball, they start coming in bunches, and you have a feel for it. So, it's just kind of just like, they made a few good catches, but I feel like I was in, a good position. So,
Is tonight a night you can build on, you think, going into it's a big week now? You guys are going to Chicago for a joint practice. You're going to face someone else, and then obviously you have the preseason game as well.
Yeah. I feel like joint practices are always, not intense, but you don't want it to be intense, but you want to get quality work in. And I feel like they have a stacked offense for sure, with the draft, the guys that they brought in. I feel like that'll be, good work for me. No matter who it is, I feel like it'll be good work for me, just because of the situation. But, I'm excited for the next week.
Is the key and last thing for me, just experience now, getting as many reps as you can at corner?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what it is. I mean, corner is such a technical position to where it has to be more of experience. It's something that doesn't come overnight, and it takes time and a lot of effort, and I really have to stay composed too. Whenever times don't really go your way, so I feel like every day is going to be different, but it's going to be good for me. So,
Andrew, I think Dax Hill is getting comfortable, but we need to discuss it at length, because, well, you're concerned about the cornerback position. At least you were going into preseason game number 1. Does Andrew still have it as his top concern on the team? We will get to that coming up next. Welcome back to Enter the Jungle. He's Andrew Fox Miller. I'm James Rapien. Andrew, let's not get it twisted here. You're concerned about corner. Preseason game number 1, Dax Hill, 3 pass breakups. You had Josh Newton with an interception. Where is your concern level at cornerback now going into this week's joint practice and preseason game number 2 with the Bears?
We're on the right path, James. We're on the right path. Dax was everywhere. I
Okay,
love
Zach,
seeing it.
Don't give me this coach speak. Come on.
Okay, to be clear, for those that aren't aware, like we talk about my worries and whatever, this isn't like I look at the cornerback room as like the embodiment of like Jackson Carman or something. This isn't that. I'm not expecting this to be a big bust of a cornerback room.
God.
My concerns are there is a lot of talent there, but between moving positions in the case of Dax Hill and between the youth and inexperience, let's just say it, at that position, I love the potential, but can we rely on it? Like to use Zach Taylor's word of this offseason is like, is there consistency? That's the one area, that one position group that I've just been concerned with, because we don't have a record really of consistency for a large part of this cornerback room. So I felt really good about Dax Hill. I like what I saw. I like the way that they used him, swatting passes. Like, it's just what he does. Like, do you think of a good game with Dax Hill, even at safety last season? That's what this felt like. It's just wherever that ball was, you'd see 23 there. You're like, oh my God, he's after it. Like, where'd he come from? So that's what I want from Dax Hill. We'll see about the overall room, but we're on the right path. I'm sorry, we are. I have to say that. We're on the right path. I'm not like, yes, stamp of approval. They're done. It's all of them. Pro bowlers, get them off the field. No, we're on the right path.
So while you were talking about pathways and all of those things, Jackson Carman got called for holding 2 more times. He also got called for a false start when you said the word bust. He popped up out of his stance. So
yeah, you can't do that.
That's another 5 yards. You want to talk about performances? Literally, that's the worst performance I've seen. I mean, you get called for false start at home, right, when the crowd isn't loud, and then holding 3 times, including, I mean, it's year 4 against like 3rd and 4th stringers for the Buccaneers, and the 4th stringers maybe asking to come on Enter the Jungle as a guest in the near future. Like, that's crazy. I'm not concerned about the cornerback room. Now, Would it be nice if they added another veteran? Yeah, you can't have enough corners. And so that's my logic. But I'm a Dax Hill believer. I think that this idea, and going into the preseason game, I felt this way. This idea that DJ Turner is just light years ahead. I wasn't there. I think a lot of people are. A lot of people that cover the team are. I'm not there. I think
Mhm.
Dax Hill has the skill set, has the ball skills, has the ability, and he needs reps. Like I talked to him about last segment, he just needs experience. He needs time out there. And so I think this week, the joint practices against the Bears, you get him out there, you have him guard DJ Moore. You get him out there, you give him first team reps, you have him guard Rome Odunze. And then again, and if he gets beat, you know what you do? You put him out there again and you have him learn from it. Just give him as many reps as you can, because he's playing the catch-up game from that standpoint against DJ Turner, Josh Newton, all these other guys that have obviously been a cornerback for a long time. As far as Newton, I think he's a baller as well.
Oh, yeah.
Read the receiver on his interception, and I think they found one, a really good one, late in the draft. And they need those day 3 gems. It's not just Dax Hill and DJ Turner that they're hoping hit. You need day 3 gems to come through. And DJ Ivy last year looks like a player. He's still rehabbing the ACL. And then Josh Newton this year, 2 day 3 guys that look like they're going to be huge factors for this team down the stretch of their rookie contracts at some point. Like Ivy might not get in this year a ton, but next year, after he recovers from that ACL, or mid-season this year, after he recovers from that ACL, he could have an impact.
Yeah, day 3 gems. We're going to need a lot, especially, re-signing Jamar Chase. We need a lot of day 3 gems. A lot.
Andrew, just today, we're on the path. We're on the right path, and sign Jamar Chase with also a shot at Jackson Carman. He's Andrew Fox Miller. I'm James Rapien. Make sure you subscribe to Cincinnati Bengals Talk on YouTube. Check us out weekly on Bally Sports, and drink a garage beer. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. Enter the jungle.